towards your three-fingered gin and tonic, have you got your lager in a glass? Are you like, you know, going swivel-eyed with excitement because Weird Hour is upon us again? And this time, I've been so excited about this. Ever since I got the news that he had been booked, I've just literally been like, ants in my pants. It's Leo Kearse. Oh, Leo, my boy.
Yeah, Alex, it's great to be here.
I know. Now, we had a little trip together, didn't we, last year?
We did.
We went on a little hollybobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little honeymoon to Israel.
We did. We went on a little right-wing trip to Israel. It was very serious. It was actually, we saw some really distressing stuff. I mean, utterly, you cannot...
I'll never forget that buffet bar.
I was going to say I'd never forget the time we met the survivors at the Nova Festival.
Oh, there was that as well. Yeah, there was that as well. That was traumatic as well.
You mean the 18th floor?
Yeah.
I loved that 18th floor. Although when we were on the trip, the 18th floor in the hotel we're staying in Tel Aviv was sort of perma open with like hummus and cheeses and pastries and all the alcohol you could imagine.
Yeah.
And I was the only person on the trip drinking. Everyone else seemed to be having some sort of weird health kick.
Yeah. But what a fascinating trip. I mean, I went there with so many, you know, preconceptions about Palestinians, and it was great to have them all confirmed.
Oh, we got baptised together as well.
Yeah. In the River Jordan.
Yeah. Have you been doing your Bible homework?
Yeah, well, I don't need to. Baptised in the River Jordan. Surely that does you for like 20 years at least.
Yeah, automatic. Do you need a top-up, do you reckon? At some point we're going to have to schedule our trip back. It was so good. I mean, it was actually, to be honest, during that trip that I realised how funny you were. Not that you weren't funny before, but actually just spending round-the-clock time with you, I was just like, he's just constantly on Funsterland. Yeah, I love that. Now, someone else I think is joining Funsterland, at least that's my interpretation, Jim Ratcliffe. Let's have a little clip of Jim, who's decided to, let's say, proverbially stick his head above the parapet when it comes to political debate in the UK.
I don't know whether it's just the apparatus that hasn't allowed Keir to do it, or he's maybe too nice. He's a nice, I mean, I know Keir, he's a nice man, I like him, but it's a tough job, and I think you have to do some difficult things with the UK to get it back on track, because at the moment I don't think the economy is in a good... You can't afford... you can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause...
It's been colonised.
It'll cause... Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it?
Like a sort of boring, not boring interview, but well, you know, too many people. And then out comes the word colonised, and it's like, whoa!
Yeah, but I mean, I can't find a lie in what he says.
No.
He's saying the truth, and we've seen other business leaders like Larry Fink. I think Peter Thiel has maybe said this as well. So these are billionaires as well. I mean, Jim Ratcliffe is worth what, £14 billion.
He's basically got more money than the UK economy right now. Let's be fair.
I think our exit strategy is just to all move into his house. But these business leaders like Larry Fink has said that the countries that didn't embrace mass immigration are going to be the ones that are best set to go forward into this century, because they won't be burdened by millions and millions of dependents. Because we're not bringing... I mean, there's a lot of people who come to Britain and contribute, and you know that's great, and they fit in, they work hard. But then there's also a lot of people who come here just to have a better life for themselves. They out desire for a better life, which quite often means, you know, suckling at the teat of the state. My mate is a police officer in Birmingham. He's Muslim, and he says, you know, from his extended family, like 80% of them claim benefits, and it's seen as like a baseline. You just you get your free housing, your benefits, and then anything you can earn on top of that is a bonus.
It's so crazy. I actually, you know, I remember watching, you know, going down my wormholes online and seeing an imam basically saying, you know, we're superior to them, they do the work for us, and then we can, you know, we can come into their country and have all the benefits because they're basically our slaves. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, that is colonisation, isn't it? Let's be fair, with that sort of mental attitude.
And it's being done with the complicity of our leaders, who should be looking after Britain first and looking after us.
Not the Britain first. Maybe them as well. But no, it's utterly mad, and we're getting more and more mental by the second on this one. I mean, this is utterly insane. Stop discouraging First cousin marriage?
Yeah.
What, we're supposed to encourage it instead? Do you fancy your cousin, Leo?
I mean, my
What's she
cousins,
like?
my cousins, I've got two cousins. They're quite attractive. So,
Do you fancy a two-headed baby?
no, well, this is the thing. The NHS advice is actually incorrect. How come a Scottish comedian knows more about healthcare outcomes than the NHS does? Because the NHS says that cousin marriage only marginally increases the risk of deformities, but they're not taking into account the fact that if you've got generation after generation after generation marrying their cousin, then you are building up to two-headed baby zone. You know what I mean? So it's not about the, if this was a one-off, then maybe it wouldn't matter so much. But if you've got the same families interbreeding, like generation after generation after generation,
you end up like with a Habsburg jaw. We did that in Europe. We played that game. We realised it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
We got mad tyrannical rulers obsessed with clocks and just went, wow, should we stop interbreeding? Yeah, let's.
Yeah, and that was hundreds of years ago. And people always bring it up as like, oh, but Prince Albert, and it's like, yeah, that was hundreds of years ago. We're not doing it anymore because we know better. But one of the things that I think is like, I don't really want, like, if these people want to marry their cousins, I'm all for it. Like, if there is going to be some sort of civilizational showdown, I am fine if they've all got two heads. That is...
Right, I know. I see what we're getting to here. Right, if evolution takes its course and then all of a sudden there's a Mad Max fight for Europe, it's like, well, there you go. We've got nobody anymore because we've stopped breeding and your troops are all, well, they can't do anything anyway. But it is weird, and what I can't wrap my head around is, I don't know if it's just biologically built into me. The idea of finding a cousin attractive is just...
Well, you sound like you've got ugly cousins. Let me tell you, some people...
Sorry, Dan. He's one of my best mates, my cousin Dan. It's lovely. But I don't want to...
I've got attractive cousins, but, I wouldn't marry them because they don't want to marry me. No, I mean, I wouldn't marry my cousins. Like, because, I mean, it's not a British thing. It's not a British thing. Well, it used to not be a British thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I just find it absolutely
And in fact, where I grew up is where the bicycle was invented by Kirkpatrick Macmillan.
Where the bicycle was invented.
The bicycle was invented, and this did a lot to reduce cousin marriage, genuinely, because people...
Hold on. The links to... So where did you grow up?
I grew up like Money Ive and Pen Punt in the Dumfriesshire Hills.
Yeah, I don't know what you said until Dumfriesshire, and I've heard of that. The hills right. is the word I recognise. So, and they invented is this like a surefire claim, or are you just
this is a genuine thing. You can go, there's a plaque and everything. There's probably a little museum and stuff. I've never been to it, but Kirkpatrick Macmillan lived in Kearse, which is near Pen Punt.
Keir Starmer.
And Kirkpatrick Macmillan invented this bicycle. I don't think it had like sort of wooden things that you shifted like that. So
it's actually more like a cross trainer.
Like a sort of, like a cross trainer, like a hobby horse cross trainer thing. And it meant that people could leave the valley to go to the next valley over, so you didn't have to marry your cousin anymore.
Oh, well, look at that. Yeah. That's really useful.
So across Scotland, across Britain, it contributed, because a lot of cousin marriage was just about logistics. If you're living in an era where you've got to walk to go on a date, then that's going to be difficult.
That's going to be difficult. I don't know why you guys didn't bring this up in the independence referendum. You might just have won it if you said, well, we invented the bicycle and stopped interbreeding.
Well, I think a lot of the SNP candidates were offspring of cousin marriage, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, all that Mac stuff, there must be a lot of... Because you're not a muck something.
No,
Is that
I'm not.
Because you're not cousin married?
Well, also my parents are mostly English. So...
Oh, so you just sort of inherited an accent from the ether?
I grew up in Scotland.
Yeah, I like the Scottish accent. Do you know what is weird? For ages I thought you were a Geordie. I don't know why. I used to live in Newcastle.
Oh,
I think it's because you don't have a muck. And for ages in my head you were a Geordie. And I think it's literally before going to Israel when someone said, oh, you know Leah Kearse, the Scottish comedian. And I was like, you mean the Geordie comedian? The really tall Geordie comedian? They were like, Scottish? And I'm like, what? Yeah.
So just everything north of like Watford to you is just one blob.
What's insane is my dad's from the northeast.
Oh, right.
And I went to university in the northeast, and I worked in the northeast. And I don't know, maybe it's because I like you so much that I just automatically assumed you were not Scottish. Let's talk about love lives, shall we?
Yeah.
How's yours?
It's great.
Yeah, you're married.
Married.
All good. Kids good.
Kids great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
I genuinely recommend getting married. I know it's falling out of fashion with people, but I think men respond to duty well. Women respond to having babies well. It's a lot of my single friends are insane because they don't have kids, because they're not married.
Single people are sad people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of them, so
No,
I know.
You're not a sad one, but I know.
You don't. I cry in the bath a lot. I do.
It's a good place to do it.
It's the best place.
It's just going to fill the water up a
Your
bit more.
makeup's already off anyway. You can't get your clothes wet, so you just get it all out in the bathtub, I say. But yeah, no, Gen Z. Do you ever notice people always say Gen Z, not Gen Z?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I thought it was a rapper.
It sounds like a rap. Like rappers have got like rubbish names these days. They used to have like good names. Like
that documentary on Puff Daddy ruined rap for me, because it used to be all these gangsters being like, yeah, guns and, you know, hoes or whatever. Hoes, they're talking about the gardening. But then I found out they were actually having to do things to Puff Daddy, who's very much the Harvey Weinstein of the rap community.
Yeah.
To get, so it takes some of the gangster sheen off it when you know they've had to give Puff Daddy a little fumble.
Exactly. It does sort of make them seem a little less sort of assertive and masculine when you know they've had to sort of get on all fours with a bottle of baby lotion.
Yeah.
It's not really the look, is it? but at least they had good names.
Yeah.
Back then, I'm trying to think of some of them.
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill. I mean, that's just mystic. I like the sound of Cypress Hill. Flavor Flav. LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Nate's Dogg. There's a lot of dogs going on. Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg. But now you've got this person I've never heard of until he, I don't know, popped up on the news the other day, called Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. I assumed it was a woman. Because it's a bunny.
It's a bunny. Like, it's just such a rubbish name.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed in the direction of travel of rap. I preferred it when it was packed full of violence and misogyny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with that. It was good.
The good old days when we had traditional values of violence and misogyny.
Exactly. Bring that back. But Gen Z are begrudging online dating, don't we all? Because almost half don't know how else to meet someone. I mean, it's just become a phenomenon that no one knows. Because I feel like I don't know how to meet someone now. Yeah. I'm sort of relatively newly single, not really enjoying it. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, dating apps are good. But, I mean, the thing is, like, I think with dating apps, it's very easy for people to say no. And I think they perhaps pass over candidates that they should really give a chance to. That's
true, because sometimes you realise that some of your weird untowards crushes are people who, if you're just shown a photo, you'd be like, nah, not so much.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, they sort of like, you get hooked on. Like, who's your weird celebrity crush? Have you got a weird
celebrity
crush?
like,
you're kind of like, I really shouldn't, but I kind of do.
No, I can't think of it. I can't think of a weird celebrity
crush. This is
crush.
what married life does.
Yeah, you're not allowed. All thoughts of other women go out your head, so it's but yeah, weird celebrity crush. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
You've got
like,
a historic one.
Growing up in the 80s, there's people like Joanna Lumley. You know what I mean? And
that's not even weird.
It
that's
probably
just
still
mainstream.
is. It probably still is Joanna Lumley. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone fancies Joanna Lumley, male or female, for whatever reason. She is a beguiling character. I think my weirdest, because most of mine are a bit weird, but my weirdest to date's probably Michel Roux Jr.
Right. Oh, the chef.
Yeah.
Is he the guy who smokes when he's making a salad and stuff?
I don't think he smokes. He seems very clean cut.
Oh, really?
But he just seems like he's such a nice man.
Right.
He's got happiness in his eyes.
He's not the guy with the tattoos and everything.
No, I don't know who that one is.
Someone else.
Oh, are you thinking of like the... I mean, there was Keith Floyd, who was always in France, getting absolutely off his trolley.
Keith Floyd was amazing.
I know, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He must be dead.
He is dead, unfortunately.
Yeah, that liver couldn't have held out for that long.
It was quite serious.
Oh, it was always like, getting out the vino, cooking, bit in there. I loved him.
What I loved about Keith Floyd is sometimes the recipes would go wrong. I remember watching him bake a fish in salt, and when he went to like crack open the salt, the fish was just ruined. It was so funny. You never see that now. Now everything's just absolutely slickly perfect. Whereas Keith Floyd, you'd just be watching a man get drunk, ruin a fish.
And like everything else in the world of celebrities used to be fun. Now they're moaning about turkey twizzlers or moaning about the Conservatives and now moaning about hospitality industry. We shouldn't have moaned about the Conservatives, and he would have had blimmin' Labour.
When celebrities go into like political activism, especially when it's with the Hollywood celebrities, when they're doing the anti-ICE at the Grammys, and Bad Bunny being like, we should, I'm like, well, fine. Or Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo's always like, we need to have socialism. Okay, we'll have socialism on your films then. So you get paid $25 million. Well, the great news is now you're getting paid $100,000, and everyone on your films
now
get paid $100,000.
You're all on minimum wage.
This is how socialism works, Mark. If you want to try it, let's do that.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo disappoints me because he hasn't got a left-wing face.
No.
I feel like he's got a right-wing face.
He's getting more left-wing. He's getting that sort of real glum. Glum,
sort of
overweight.
the padded soft features. I always feel right-wing people have distinguished features.
Exactly, because who was it, Wittgenstein, that said that aesthetics and morality are exactly the same? That's why right-wing people are always better looking.
They are! It's so true, especially, I must say, right-wing women.
Yeah.
You don't really find many really minging right-wing women. They usually are quite attractive people.
Absolutely, because left-wing women can always, they blame society.
For being ugly.
Yeah, or like, you know,
Yeah.
oh, well, it's not, I'm not fat, being fat is beautiful, and we've got to change society to think that, you know, being fat is beautiful. Whereas a right-wing woman will be like, I'm fat, I need to get down the gym.
Left-wing women are basically the female equivalent of incels, aren't they? It's like, I hate the world, down with the patriarchy, because no one wants to snog you, love.
Do you think we could bring the incels and the left-wing women together?
Oh my gosh, this would solve so many problems. But actually, the interesting thing that is happening with incels is the ones that become the Muslim converts. There's definitely like a conveyor belt.
Yeah,
and the common factor is gingerism.
Yeah,
I say that my mum's a redhead, so, you know, I feel like I've got diplomatic immunity. Is it just that men have secret ginger beards and they don't know until they grow them out? Or is it because, you know, because they're ginger, they feel like they're at a disadvantage and they can get a free wife and a hijab if they become a Muslim? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's the alienation. Maybe they feel alienation from society because they get bullied for being ginger. Maybe it's because they don't get enough women, so they think, well, I'm going to go into this hardcore society where I'll be like given a woman. Effectively.
Yeah, that's it. And I can have more than one.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to try. I can just like demand one, and then I've got it, and it can be at home doing what I like.
Yeah, you're actually selling it to me.
If I was a fat ginger man, I'd probably go for it. Because actually, to be honest, you know, most of the disadvantages of, you know, being a Muslim extremist are for the women.
Yeah.
The men actually are living a great life, aren't they? They get to go and play in jihadi camps, hang out with the boys, do some team sport activities, do a bit of shooting, you know, get as many wives as you like. What's not, apart from not being able to drink, what's not to like?
Yeah, and also there's white liberal women now going into Islam as well, and they are going to ruin Islam. Whenever these people go in to an organisation, they destroy it. I am so looking forward to this. I don't think the imams know what's coming.
I love that. Yeah, do you think they're sort of undercover operatives secretly? They are going to ruin Islam. That's an exciting prospect.
As soon as I saw Tony Blair's sister-in-law like pop up in a hijab.
I love that. That's actually one of the greatest things. That's one of my favourite Tony Blair facts. After the lockdown mullets, which do you remember that thing? Every time I speak about Tony Blair, I have to remind people of the lockdown mullets.
Yeah.
He looks like, you know, when they cast someone in the sort of traditional 6-part drama series, and it's the character, there's been a murder, a kid's being kidnapped, and there's the weirdo in the village, so everyone just assumes it's that guy. Yeah. That's what Tony Blair looked like during lockdown. He looked like the sort of probable murderer who turns out to be... Actually, it reminds me of that Paul No, that's a... Sometimes I think I shouldn't make references. I was going to say, it reminds me of that poor guy, the landlord, when that poor girl in Bristol got killed, and everyone thought it was the landlord because he might have had...
like Tony Blair.
Well, it just had slightly, you know, certain type of hair.
Yeah.
My Michel Roux Jr. story, though, so I've kind of fancied him from a distance for quite a while, and I once had a dream that he was chasing me around with a craft knife.
Right.
I don't know why, but I did. And so he's been sort of the forefront of my mind for a while now, and I came into work the other day, and I got into the lift, and it was him in the lift.
No way.
Yeah.
Did he have a knife?
He did not have a craft knife, and he was standing there talking to one of the producers on whatever floor he'd been on, doing something, or whoever he'd been meeting. And he was just lovely, so his lovely voice and his lovely temperament, and we came out the lift and walked through the atrium together. I didn't say anything.
Right.
I didn't know what to say. I guess, you know, when people sort of, when you're recognised and people come and tell you who you are. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, you're Alex Phillips. It's like, am I? I didn't know that. It's like literally the first thing that people say. Do you get that? Like, you're Leo Kearse.
Well, yeah, so, sometimes, like, on Saturday I had a guy come up to me and he's like, are you Leo Kearse? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'm one of your biggest fans. It's like, I think one of my biggest fans would recognise my face. Wouldn't be like, is this Leo Kearse? You know what I mean?
The other day I went into my local and I'd finished work and gone straight to my local on a Friday when we come off air at 9, because I now live in the West Country. If I rush really fast, I can get the train at 9:30 and I can be through the door of the pub just before 11, before last orders.
Nice.
So I'd done that. I'd pelted my way, got down the local, bam through the front door, at the bar. Tina, the barmaid's already got the drink mixed. My neighbour Mia's ordered it, and we're standing there. And then it was a busy night on a Friday, so it was more than just the usual locals, people I didn't know. And then someone came up to me and said, "You look like someone." And I was like, "Thanks." He said, "Seriously, like, honestly, it's really, it's uncanny. You actually you look like this woman on TV, and I was like, oh, that is uncanny. He said, yeah, this person called Alex, and I was like, oh, really? Yeah, you probably don't know her. And I was like, not that well. I think I've got a vague idea who she is. He said, oh, yeah. And the guy was speaking to me sort of tentatively, sort of going, yeah, no, but, I don't want to offend you because you are like, she's sort of like, this right-wing journalist.
Right, yeah.
And I was like,
sounds horrible.
I know, because I live in a Lib Dem heavy area. It's
Right,
nice.
yeah.
There's no MIGO hotels in my area, so it's
That's
very
why
Lib
it's
Dem.
Lib Dem.
Yeah. It's so Lib Dem. There's
As soon as they get a
like,
few, this is how you turn people right wing. We should be campaigning for these hotels to be placed in all the Lib Dem areas.
No, because that'll be my area, up the road from me. Anyway, the guy was almost apologetic, and I was still in my coat because I'd rushed in through the door, off the train, driving home. So I was like, oh, that's don't worry, I'm not offended, like everyone's got their own views. And I sort of zipped off my coat, and he went, you are Alex Phillips. And I was like, hey! It was just such a nice moment, but it was really strange having someone sort of speak to me gently, thinking I'm going to offend her. And then I was like, does that mean I've got a left-wing face?
Yeah, maybe you do.
I don't think I do. I think it's a right-wing face.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think people assume that right-wing people are going to have mean, snarling faces because they're angry about something.
I tell you what the problem is, though. I had a stressful time last year. I got a really bad flu, ended up shingles all over my face twice, which was no fun.
Yeah.
You have to go to A&E for that stuff. And
Really?
as a result, yeah. Because if you get shingles in the face, it's like an infection of the nerves.
Right.
And it can go into the brain and kill you.
What?
Yeah, they wanted to put me on a sort of antiviral drip overnight and everything. Yeah, you don't be wanting that.
No.
Facial shingles aren't the one.
Right.
But I was just super under the weather all last year from getting this mad disease at inauguration, which is just like a sort of petri dish of infection.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what happened is my hair fell out a little bit as a result. And as a result, I've now got like one of those left-wing fringes, a mental illness fringe.
You need to dye it purple.
I know, a hairdresser in Manchester once told me if your fringe stops above your eyebrows, it's the first sign of clinical depression.
Yeah, if you've got that couple of inches, then you're going to get offended about something. You need to shave up one side of your head as well.
Yeah, they like that, the old undercut. That is definitely
asymmetric.
Part of, Yeah, what is that with? I mean, that's just official left-wing uniform, isn't it? You've got to have that weird piercing there.
Yeah, and now they've got chains going over the nose like that as well. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
Do you go and mingle with them down on their marches
I see that they pop up on the internet sometimes when I'm looking at the internet, and I just wonder how they run through a net curtain. Like all those piercings, something is going to get caught.
I know, and also that can't be comfortable.
No.
I think it's, ugh. But, I also think there's this one woman, I kind of want to get her on the programme one day because I want to have a massive old debate with her. And she's just sort of, I don't even know what her name is, but she pops up everywhere banging on about how much she loves the migrants. She just loves them migrants so hard.
Zoe Gardner.
Oh, yes!
Zoe Gardner.
That's her!
Yeah.
Now, she's got a left-wing face.
Yeah, you know what she does?
Slightly sort of sorrowful eyes.
Because it's funny, she's very attractive, objectively attractive, but she's got a weird meanness to her face.
I think she's got sort of a doleful, like, the world's been horrible to me face.
Yeah.
But she is quite attractive. But because she's got the mean, doleful face, that means she's not right-wing.
Right. You can tell. I think people like her, we need to put the migrants, we need to be campaigning for Glastonbury to accept illegal migrants.
I think people like her should go and do special performances at migrant hotels, like Vera Lynn did, whatever it was, for the troops during the Second World War. They should go and cheer up the migrants down them hotels and see how they get on.
I think if migrants had free access to Glastonbury, if Glastonbury didn't have secure borders around it, then a lot of the people in Glastonbury would maybe change their opinions about
perhaps next year we tell the people of Glastonbury, give up your ticket for a migrant because they need some entertainment, and this looks like a refugee camp.
They don't need a ticket. Why would an illegal migrant need a ticket to get into a part of the land? Nobody is illegal on stolen land.
Nobody is